Welcome to Unity this morning, everyone. I'm Diane Castro-Wehr, and I'm your platform assistant today. Today, Reverend Frank is our minister, and our talk title is Journey in Love's Alignment. And we're so happy to welcome Kate Curtis and Kathy Murray as our music today.
If love is why I'm here, let me be an open channel. If love is why I'm here, let me give and then receive. If love is why I'm here, let me be an open channel. If love is why I'm here, let me give and then receive. Give and receive. Give and receive. If love is why we're here, let us be an open channel. If love is why we're here, let us give and then receive. If love is why we're here, let us be an open channel. If love is why we're here, let us give and then receive. Give and receive. Give and receive. If love is why I'm here, let me be an open channel. If love is why I'm here, let me give and then receive.
As we prepare for a short time of reflection and meditation, let's begin by calling to mind anyone or anything that we would like to have a moment of prayer and send a blessing to. I invite you to speak these names aloud. We hold these people, these situations, in the light of love, trusting that divine order is at work. Divine order. That's our word for the day from this reading from the Daily Word. And the affirmation is, divine order is my constant blessing. I invite you to say that with me. Divine order is my constant blessing. Few things can lift me beyond the daily irritations and inconveniences of daily life, better than simply affirming divine order. I shift my perspective with these two simple words, reminding myself that the things of the world may come and go, but when I align with spiritual truth of this order, it endures. I remember times of chaos and confusion when I couldn't imagine how things might work out, and they just did. Divine order was at work just as it is at work right now in my life. As I align myself with this spiritual truth, I no longer get rattled when plans go awry or there are hiccups in my vision of how things should be. I free myself from anxiety and worry by living as the spiritual being I am, cooperating with the order that undergirds all things. It is instilled in my heart. So please join me in saying again, divine order is my constant blessing. Let's hold these words in a few minutes of meditation and quiet, allowing this message to sink into our heart space. Divine order is my constant blessing. And so it is.
I want to learn from my mistakes. I want to give back what I take. I want to be there for my friends. I want to always make amends. I want to live like that. I want to laugh right out loud. I want to make my mama proud. I want to have the strength to cry. I want to always wonder why. I want to live like that. I want to live that way. I don't want to be afraid. I want to love like that every day. I want to live like that. I want to be heard when I pray. I want to slow dance in the rain. I want to love and be loved back. Lose my way without a map. I want to live like that. I want to walk where things grow wild. I want to see my baby smile. I want to grow up gracefully, gather shells beside the sea. I want to live like that. I want to live that way. I don't want to be afraid. I want to love like that every day. I want to live like that. I want to live that way. I don't want to be afraid.
Oh, that one got to me. That was good. Thank you. Yeah. You want to live in that harmony. That's what it's about today. The vibration of love. I've been thinking, and I'm trying to remember to do this, to let you know where this talk is coming from. It's, of course, things I read. I always have these teachers. Someone named Elizabeth Sand Turner. She has books on the shelf. Sandra, you may know her. Elizabeth Sand Turner? Yeah. Ed Rabel? Isn't he your guy? Yeah. Ed Rabel is a teacher, Unity minister, Ed Rabel. Charles Fillmore, of course. A Franciscan friar named Murray Bobo, in a little book of poems I read many years ago, a major inspiration for what I want to talk about today. Probably lots of other folks as well mixed in there. Charles Fillmore, of course, lots of Charles Fillmore. And the talk today is about vibration and harmony. And we use these words a lot, like coherence. Oh, the Thomas, what's his name? The attuned. Thank you, Sandra. That's exactly where I'm going with this. This attunement, this alignment, this harmonization with. And what does that mean? We use those words a lot. I use them all the time. But I wanted to ask a little bit more about what's the essence of what this is? And what's really interesting is, I think, here's a question I have all the time. As a human being, we're layered, right? We're layered, and we say things like, I've got a body, and I've got a psyche, and I've got a mind, and I've got feelings, and I've got thinking nature, and I have beliefs. And we say things like, I have a soul, and I have a psyche, and I have a spirit. And you go, that's a lot of stuff. But what's fascinating is, and this is the joyful part of it, there really is a truth to our multi-dimensional nature of being a human being. And I say, why, God? Why did you make us so complex? And of course, I read, the great scholastic theologians like, Thomas Aquinas and Bonaventure and Duns Scotus and Meister Eckhart and all these people. And they say, because God is so complex that God had to create a human being in a way that could manifest all the possibilities of what God could be. So he created you. And all that's good, but I have a different explanation. I want to change that just a little bit, in all due respect to those master teachers. I think that God wants to have fun. Wasn't there a song, Girls Just Like to Have Fun? God just likes to have fun. And God, this divine entity, this divine being, created us. There is an essence of who we are that's fixed, that's certain, that's true, that's eternal, that doesn't change, that has, or at least has access to what doesn't change. And that side of us is like what I would call our spirit, our spiritual side. And then we have a side of us that does change. Look at a picture of yourself a year ago when you were here. If you don't believe me, we change. There's a side of us that is in process, that is unfolding, that experiences polarities, this or that, and both of them are true at the same time, and you try to find the middle ground. There's a side of us that's constantly moving. It's co-creative. It's co-creative. See, this is the thing about the divine. The divine created us as spiritual connection, a spiritual emanation of the divine essence itself. We are that. And also, we outpicture as these humans who have souls and psyches and thoughts and feelings and beliefs and bodies. And everyone is an individual expression. And the question I always have is, so how does that spiritual truth of us, how does that one divine essence that's always true, that's eternal, that has fixed quantities, that has spiritual principles that don't change, how does that affect who we are in this field of being human, that we also are the truth of both of our natures that does change and evolves? And the divine says, I am going to create a world that's here's the creation I'm going to do. And then it's going to unfold into you, people, trees, birds, bobcats, owls, worlds, seas, oceans, atoms, electrons, solar systems, cosmoses, universes, multiverses, who knows what those are, but all of that. And that's all going to change. And guess what you get to do? You get to play with me, says the divine. You get to be part of it. You get to co-create. And so the beauty of the divine, he says, I'm omnipotent. I can do everything. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a universe where you get to surprise me. You get to co-create. I thought of this image. I saw this video of this artist. He had like a big piece of canvas, and he had like a bucket, and it had some holes in it. And he poured this paint in. It was on a string. And he would stand back, and he would push it just the right way. And it would roll around, and it would do these things, and it would make different ellipses. And the picture would just come out. And he'd say, well, that was cool. And he'd hang that picture up, and he'd put different paint and different stuff and different glitter, get a different canvas, and he'd spin it a different way. And it'd come out different. And I thought, these are all just metaphors, right? We always talk metaphors. But it comes out, the painting was different. And the artist knew exactly, I get paint, I put it in the bucket, I put it on a string, and I push it. Fixed, same way, all the time, doesn't change. But the picture every single time was different. And the artist goes, wow, that one's cool. How about this? Wow, that's cool. That's kind of how I feel the divine play. And the divine is just going, I'm dancing with y'all. I gave you all of this energy as this emanation of the divine energy itself, and I'm going to allow you to play with me. Let's see what we can do. Let's see how this unfolds. We think there's some divine being that has already in a place of no time, already knows how the end result is. Or maybe the divine's going, yeah, I don't know, let's do this together. Because the divine likes to play. It's this, and play in a sense of let's see what the unfolding is, and all the principles, and all the free will, and all the potentialities. And you know, this energy that divine says, it is good. It is good. So how do we align so that what we outpicture, what we co-create, how do we align with that? So that what we can outpicture is in the same sense of the divine. It's a divine beauty. It's a divine good. It's a divine truth. It's a divine yumminess of co-creative. And we know when we're there. We know it. We know it. We know when we're aligned with that. Why? We go, there it is. There it is. It's like this. It's like, here's the emanation of the divine, the perfect world, the truth of our nature goes like this. I'll show you. And we go, we're going to try to play with you. And this is a metaphysical Bible dictionary, high theology here. We think if we memorize this book, we got it, right? Yeah. Okay, so go, that didn't work. That's off. I'm trying to co-create in a way, and I'm going, what I'm working on is just landing with a thud. I'm feeling, do you ever say this? I'm feeling out of sorts. I'm feeling out of alignment. I'm trying to connect today, but I just, some days you go, I want to talk. Yeah, let's not, let's just take a moment to ourselves. I am just feeling right. I'm just not feeling it, we say. Because we know when that alignment feels a little, and that's okay. It's fine. We just know. But it's that joy, that yumminess when we go, I feel that. We use words like energy, vibration. And I like those words, energy. But energy, if you can plug a meter to it and put a motor and measure volts, and you go, that's energy. If you can measure it, it's either this or that, or it's more volts or less volts. That's not it. It's a metaphor. Because the divine energy is a perfection. We're using metaphor. We're human, so we try to use these metaphors to understand these principles. If you can measure it, it's not it. It's a metaphor. A vibration, you can measure hertz, you can measure vibrations. But if you can measure it, it's just a metaphor for what we're trying to experience. And that's okay, because the spiritual truth it sort of defies words. It sort of defies it. So we're human. We have to use these metaphors. We have to use these understandings. But we do get the there it is. God, there it is. And so we act out in the world, and we're looking for that vibration. We're looking to align. We're looking to co-create with the divine. And we go like this, and then that ain't it. We try different things. We try to show up and say, I'm going to act in a certain way. I'm going to try. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try a spiritual practice to align. I'm going to try meditating this way or that way. I'm going to try journaling. What is not working? And then all of a sudden you go dance and you go, that's it. In that movement, in the flow, you do Tai Chi, you do yoga, you find your vibrational match, right? This is the spiritual practice. This is what we're looking for. As you're trying to find the zone, we call it. I was in the zone. I was in that space. You know, some days you go meditate. You go, we sit here and meditate. It's like 45 minutes, and 10 minutes in, I'm like, I'm going. You're 10 minutes in, you're going, nah, I think I'll go do something else for a while. And then every now and then, we go on Wednesday morning with Jonathan. We're in here meditating for 50 minutes. And you sit, and you get, it's the Kate and Kathy thing, the harmony. And then you sit for 45 minutes, and the music goes off, and you go, that was 3. Where did an hour go? Where did that go? He says, you go, there it is. I feel it. And the teachers talk about this. There's a Charles Fillmore calls it like the dimensionalities of us, finding ourselves, we're in the 3-dimensional space, but trying to find us aligned with these different dimensions. He says dimensions they're not places, they're not locations, they're levels of awakened consciousness. We rise to a higher level of consciousness, and when we rise to that higher level of consciousness, when we move and we find ourselves moving in that direction, you find that there's a whole new world that's waiting for you. A whole world waiting for you. And the scientists see this. The great scientists, the people who, they're materialists, they're full materialists. We got to do experiments. We got to measure things. The real world is what you can touch with these senses. What about the other sense? We say we got to be able to see it with our eyes, but spiritual truth has always told us we have another eye. The bindi eye, the third ear. Unless you can hear it and measure it, what you can hear. But yet we know we hear. We say, I hear a different tune. I hear it. We're not hearing it with this sense eyes. We're hearing another, and we say, you want to be able to feel it, like with what, my fingers? Sometimes you just feel something that defies the physical sense, and there's a truth to it beyond this other dimension. We know this. We reach to these other levels of sense, that's spiritual sense, not physical sense. And Max Planck, when he won the Nobel Prize for Physics, I read this, I heard this in a talk by Wayne Dyer. There's another great teacher, Wayne Dyer. And I found this, he said, as a man who has devoted his whole life to the most clear-headed science, to the study of matter, this is what the great Nobel Prize physicist says, I can tell you as a result of my research about atoms this much. There is no matter as such. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force which brings the particles of an atom to a vibration and then holds this most minute solar cell of the atom together. The vibration does. This energy does. This force holds the material world together. We must assume that behind this force, there is an existence of a conscious and intelligent mind, capital M, mind. A conscious, intelligent mind that holds all matter together. And this mind is the matrix of all matter. Yeah, so where's the truth? Well, there is the absolute truth of this matrix that holds it all together and outpictures into our human existence where we get to experience all sorts of truths. As we co-create a world, our truths and our experiences, co-creating a world, moving back and aligning with, and here's the task, align with, here's the joy to align with, here's the fun, aligning with, here's where things get really, really wonderful, just get vibrant. Just get fecund, it's just like aligning with that, aligning with this, and finding the way to align with that. And that's when things start outpitching our life. We go, you wouldn't believe what happened to me. It is such a coincidence. It seems like synchronicity. You wouldn't believe what just happened to me. If I told this 1,000 times, you wouldn't believe me. But this unfolded in my life in what seemed like a miraculous way. And you go, There it is. There's that alignment. There's that joy. You know, Charles Fillmore talked about how we are created in these both ways. And I just want to touch a little bit about this wonderful book in Genesis, the creation story. And what happened was there was a creation story, and you know what it is, Adam, and then there comes Eve, and they're in this Garden of Eden and all that. That was written first. That's chapter 2 of Genesis. And then says Elizabeth Sand Turner, this great metaphysician in Unity, she said, but what we find was that through the intuition, through the genius of these deep thinkers, these Hebrew thinkers, these theologians, and they were learning things from the Assyrians and from the Babylonians and taking all this, and they had this new breakthrough in understanding that we were first created as spiritual beings. So there's two creation stories. First, the divine created the spiritual. And then second, the spiritual, God takes the dust, the clay, the earth, the dirt, takes that part, the soul and matter and body stuff of us, and takes the spiritual side of us, breathed into it, and created a human being. We're both. So in this Genesis story, what's so fun is the first part of Genesis is basically not a story about the creation of the world per se. It's a story about the creation of us in consciousness, spiritual beings first, that spiritual being of us. And on the first day, God created the heavens and the earth. What did Jesus talk about all the time? The kingdom of this movement towards the kingdom of heaven, and how this realm of the earth plane needs to align itself. And said, look, align this realm of the world and align it towards the realm of heaven. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. And you go, well, why did he split us up? Because God likes to have fun. Because this is the outpicturing of a co-creative thing to bring community. If anything, the divine loves community, loves to be. Community is sacred. Let's join together in this co-creative process. Why? Because it is good. Because it is good. Because it is good. The divine said this way of doing it is a good way of doing it. Let's not fight it. Let's be in community. Let's co-create together. It is good, right? So there's heaven and earth, and then let there be light. As spiritual beings, we have light. You know when you have that breakthrough? You go, I saw the light. And then the second day, we talked about this, the second day of creation, there was the waters above and waters below. Oh, I know. So these human beings will have a sense of consciousness. The unconscious, where the superconscious can work through in your conscious mind. That's our truth of this nature of having levels of consciousness, levels of awakened awareness. So now we get to, by the way, 7 days of creation, 7 weeks of Lent. So this is week 3 of Lent. This is the third creation story. So God said, now let me stop there. The word God oftentimes in many translations has been a bit mistranslated, I think, and what a lot of metaphysicians say. And they didn't know what to do with it, so they just went the Lord. And the challenge with that is, and the way it comes across now to most people, if I talk about the Lord, I'm talking about something else out there. The word was Jehovah. And Jehovah created means I am. And the I am divine entity outpictured and created these spiritual beings with the same breath of I am, so that we have the power and we have in our essence, our deepest essence, we have an I am consciousness. And when we say I am, whatever we say next is what we're claiming to be our truth. So I am asking, I am saying, please be careful of everything we say after I am. I am tired. No, you're vibrant and alive. I'm vibrant and alive, and it's been a long day, and this body needs to go get some sleep. It's very different than saying, I am tired. I'm not. I'm full. I'm blessed. I'm vibrant. I'm vibrating energetically. And sometimes my body needs to rest. I am consciousness, owning the I am. Or other translations, and this one was Jehovah, but you see in other translations of these stories, they use the word Yahweh. We've talked about this. The very breath of the divine is my breath. Yahweh, the breath, the I am consciousness created. And where is that? Not out there. It's as intimate to me as my breathing. So the I am says, the waters under the sky will be gathered together in one place. Now, place is not, you read this and we think it in material planes, like one place, like a physical place. It's one way of being connected. The levels of consciousness, the waters, the turning of waters. We told the story last week of Jesus said, yeah, well, I'll rise above that. I'll own the consciousness. I'll be awake and aware of my consciousness, so he walks on water. Noah's kind of the same way. We'll build a boat. We'll rise above consciousness of what's going on and all the perceived evils of my time and rise above it with all the creation and embrace that. Okay. And then the dry land appeared, and so it was, and God called the dry land earth, consciousness of being bodies. So in our spiritual bodies, it's like we're going to have this I am consciousness, and we're going to be aware of the fact that we're moving into an embodied state. This is the creation, aware of the fact of being embodied. This is called the creative process in the Bible. Where'd you get that, Reverend Frank? Connie taught it to us years ago. I was listening. I should have looked up your notes before I did this talk, but I do have them. But just, to get into it and read it and know that that's what's happening, those words start coming alive. The words start having a meaning, which I never saw before. Looking at this metaphysically, which means the underpinning of the physicality, because there's a relationship between the divine, the eternal, and the physicalness, which we work in. That's what we've been talking about, aligning from the truth of us, the whole of us, the eternal of us, the divine of us, the spiritual of us, into the manifest of us. This is the play. This is the game that's afoot. This is where our joy is. This is where we come alive. This is the fun. This is why we do art. It's just like, what's going to come up this time? And you get like 12 different pictures because there's all these beautiful expressions of the one. And the gathering together of the waters, and God saw that it was good. This is it. This is good. This is how we are. It's how the divine meant it to be. And then God said, let the earth put forth grass, herbs yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit after their kind. And the seed is, I'm going to plant a new seed. Remember we use the word seed? It's like seed ideas. I'm going to start planting in you the ideas. The mind has the ideas which then get expressed. We're only expressing in the spiritual plane at this point, because it's Genesis 1. But he plants us the capability to have a seed. And we even say that, I have an idea. I have a seed idea. I have to plant. And this whole sense of what's in us spiritually from the very start is beings with the capacity for the potentiality of an infinite number of seeds. Think of a pomegranate. Cut it open. How many seeds are there? I don't know. Hundreds. And it's squirting all over my shirt and I'm staying. It's so juicy. It's so full. It's so rich. It's so yummy. These are the kind of adjectives I'm trying to put. It's like, This is our divine nature. Seeds, like oaks or whatever, you're an oak or you're a bonsai or whatever you are. Seeds, mustard seed. How many times did Jesus tell? Jesus read this stuff. He knew. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed. Yeah, that's where he's getting this stuff. That's the spiritual, the deepest truth of our nature. The earth brought forth grass, herbs yielding seed after their kind, and trees bearing fruit with its seed in it, after their kind, the seeds after their kind. Be very careful about the seeds we plant in our life, because they produce after their kind. So what seeds are we determining to practice? We're the essence of our eternal nature, of our spiritual nature, has access to this luminous number of possibilities and potentialities and seeds. And we get to choose. And they produce after their kind. What's showing up in my life? What seeds am I planting? God saw that was good. And this vibrational match, and here's what, I kind of want to end this with you. I want to ask you, and here's what I'm asking myself, what do you match to? It's a match game. What am I matching my energy to? I'm trying to align with this highest vibration, and I'm trying to get so my life outpictures in harmony with that same vibration. So we need to listen to it and match to it. I asked myself the question. I thought, when's a time I just heard it, and I went, there it is. I got to move now. And I was at Christmas. I was in college. And I got a book for Christmas. Here it is. Murray Bodo's St. Francis, Journey in the Dream. Little book. Christmas Day. I just gobbled it down. And Francis says, he was just shaken up. He needed to do something different. He was feeling this urge to connect on a deeper level. And he went into this busted down church where the walls were falling. There was this old cross up there with a Jesus, and he looked up and he's like, I don't know, what am I going to do? And the painting came alive and said, hey, Francis, the church is falling down, rebuild it. You know this story? So he thinks, he gets up and he goes, I know what to do. I'll start getting stones and fixing churches, physical churches. Of course, the divine meant something much more grandiose than getting stones and fixing churches. But sometimes when we align with the call of the infinite, rebuild the church, rebuild the community, there's something that's broken. I would like you to step forward and help renew it, transform it, lift it up again. He started on a very basic level. I don't know what to do in the big picture, so why don't I just start with something more simple, like finding stones? So it's Christmas Day. I had to be back at school in 2 weeks. So I went down to the Greyhound station, and they had this deal where you could buy a ticket, 14 days, anywhere you would go, United States or Canada, on-off privilege at all time. I bought a ticket. I went to the Army Navy surplus. I bought a backpack. I don't know why. I put tuna fish and beans and I bought an old sleeping bag that was rated to 32 degrees. That means, if it's 32, you're freezing. It's good for sleeping over and sleeping on a couch, right? And I got on this bus, and I left, and I didn't tell anybody, and I said, I'm going to follow Francis. If Francis says you can step off with radical trust in the divine and go build churches and just go trust that everything will unfold for your good and it worked for him, is that really true? Does that stuff work? But I had to. This thing like pulled me forward. So I got on a bus and I went to Arizona, and my plan was sleep overnight on the bus, and wherever I woke up, I would walk around for the day, then get back on the bus and sleep. I was in San Diego. I slept behind a bush in Balboa Park. I finally called. Remember this? I had to call my parents. I should probably tell my parents where I'm at. I called them collect. Remember this? You call collect on the payphone. Where the heck are you? I said, I'm in San Diego. I'm following Francis. I'm on a journey, And they're like, whoa. My dad had a friend that he used to work with, and he says, I got to call my friend and stay there. And he had a 16-year-old daughter. So this kid comes by and picks me up in this little yellow Volkswagen. She goes, hi. She was all excited. She goes, let me show you around San Diego. I'm like, could you imagine this little kid or little Volkswagen just, going around Balboa Park and Balboa Beach and up around the beach. I got this great tour. By the way, I had $50, which was a lot back then. That was it. And a backpack and a bus ticket. Can this really work? Francis said he walked off and he just trusted, radical trust that the universe will provide. Will that work? I ended up in Yosemite Park, fell in love with Yosemite, was sleeping out. Well, I know it's 0 degrees, but my sleeping bag's rated at 32. That's not too far off. I'm like, I'd gone to a play on John Muir, and I knew this guy, this Australian doctor, and he was a med student, and he said, "Well, come stay with me, Frank." I said, I'm following Francis. I'm gonna go sleep in the woods. I was so cold, like knocking on his door. Come on in, mate. He's bought me food. Lots of people bought me food. People would say, what are you doing? It's like, I know, you're just cruising around. No, I'm following Francis. He had this dream, and he said you can go and you can trust and radical trust in the world. So I'm showing up like, really? I'm like, yeah, really. Can I buy you lunch? Sure. Over and over and over. Went through Santa Barbara, went to San Francisco. That was wild. in the 80s. And Golden Gate Park, wow, that was, yeah. I got out of there real quick. Met an aunt and uncle. I eventually ended up in Salt Lake City. And I left and I rode back with this young woman who was getting out of Salt Lake City. And we talked the whole way. Very different being on a bus when you're going to something or when you're running from something, you know? What a different energy. So what's the major breakthrough in all this? I just knew that it was something I needed. You hear this tone, you hear it. And you go, okay, you have to follow that, right? It's such a blessing to hear it. And that wasn't a time, meditation was that, man. My world was noisy and loud, and I heard that tone. I said, follow that. Go see where that will lead. Go see where that will lead. And I had a book, Murray Bobo's Journey to Dream, reading poems about Francis, about repairing the church, about radical trust that when you hear the call of the divine, trust it. Listen to it. Even if it means you drop everything, get on a bus and go somewhere. Where? I don't know. Go that way. Trust that. See how that will unfold for you. Years later, I when the internet came around, I looked up Murray Bobo and actually called him and told him that story. He was an elderly man at that time. I said, you don't know what your book did to me. I didn't say this. You rang a chime for me to say, explore. So is there any final lesson to that? It worked. I had money in my pocket when I came back. People found me. People took me in. Can I tell you about Francis? This is the journey I'm on. What are you doing? What's going on here? So I tell you that story because I'm hoping that, and what I want to ask you is to find what is a story in your life? Maybe think of a story where you heard that chime, that truth of your eternal nature saying, play out in this field of your material plane, play it out such that it matches. It's a match with that sacred tone of your eternal, sacred, spiritual self. Or if you can't think of one right now, and these are fun stories to go back and remember, even more maybe, where are you hearing that tone now in your life? What do you feel maybe is you're being called to? And it doesn't matter what time of life or place in life we're on. The divine likes to call you to dance, wants to call you to play, wants to call you to join the game, wants to call and say, join me in this embrace of this beautiful thing, your humanity, your life. Join me. So close your eyes with me, if you will. Take a breath. Where do you hear that call right now? In what place do you know the divine master is saying, come with me and play. Come with me and evolve. Come with me and become. Come with me to serve, to be, to love, to live your life in a new way. Just take a minute with that. Just take a minute.
There is more than enough in the universe that you created. There is more than enough on a planet of sacred design. There is more than enough for humanity made in God's image. Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? Your infinite love made me, made and all that will ever be is your infinite love. Let my soul know the truth, whatever I choose to do, God's infinite love will prove more than enough. How fun is that? Should we do it again? There is more than enough in the universe that you created. Sing with me. There is more than enough on a planet of sacred design. There is more than enough for humanity made in God's image. Why would I worry? Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without?